Go for it.
Yay! It's August 20th, Tuesday, 7:45 p.m. at the lower level of the First United Methodist Church. So, we have Toastmasters.
Yay!
I'd like to introduce you to our president, Rhonda Wicker, to start our meeting.
Fellow Toastmasters, ladies and gentlemen, viewers at home, welcome to Toastmasters. Every Toastmasters club has the same mission. It gives us something in common, and it strengthens our bond from club to club. The Toastmaster mission is to create a mutually supportive environment, educational environment, in which each individual member has the opportunity to develop oral communication and leadership skills. I would like to introduce you to our table topics master, Toastmaster for the night. Please help me warmly welcome Alex Sequa.
Yay!
All right. Thank you, Rhonda. I am the Toastmaster tonight. My job is to keep the meeting moving along so that we can all get out of here at exactly 9:10 or earlier. I will introduce tonight's role players. In addition to role players, we have a lot of table topics masters because tonight is all about table topics. So get your nerves ready. Yes!
Yay!
Let's all get nervous. Tonight we'll all have a chance to do some impromptu speaking. So let's go over tonight's role players. Let's start with our timer, Scott. He will read his role. What are you going to do for us tonight?
I will report on the illusion of time that we seem to abide by. Table topics are 1 to 2 minute speeches. The green light is turned on at 1. Yellow light is 1:30. And the red light is at 2 minutes. And you have till 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So you have that last 30 seconds to close on up. If you are over 2 minutes and 30, you know that Nick thing that comes out and pulls you away? Or we slap you off. Yes, I am the timer. Remember time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Scott. And sometimes we tend to add unnecessary filler words sometimes. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying sometimes? So we try to make sure we count those so that we don't do that. And tonight our odd counter is Jesus Rios. Jesus,
All right,
what are you going to do?
Well, my job as an odd counter is to take note of every filler word used by every speaker tonight. Every filler word such as like, you know, so, but, and, don't click, pauses, copies, and false starts. And I will give a report at the end of the meeting.
Thank you, Jesus.
All right.
Nice job. We also want to speak eloquently with big words. Somehow I can't think of any big words.
Supercilious.
But we like speaking eloquently and to keep track of the speech and the way that we use our words tonight. We have a grammarian who also has our word of the day, Lynette.
Lynette.
Come
Yay,
up and tell us
Lynette.
the word of the day.
My job as grammarian is to listen to the language of the members and make a note of any exceptional good or bad use of the language during the meeting. And at the end, I will give a brief report and listen for the word of the day. So this was very last minute. I didn't know until I came in. The word is commitment.
All right.
So actually, I should have added on to say how, have the Toastmasters made your share of commitments in the last 3 months?
Okay.
Instead of having how many of the Toastmasters, so that would have been one simple answer. But, okay, so that
All
is
right.
it.
Thank you. Very nice. Our general evaluator for this evening is Ms. Marilyn Graber. She will give a report at the end of the meeting.
Yay, Marilyn.
Our greeter and joke master will be Arthur. Atkinson. Art. And our ballot counter / leader counter will be Dan Craig.
Yay, Dan.
All right.
One quick thing. Leader counter, my role is to help everybody remember to be evaluated in their leadership manual for a role that they might be completing tonight. So could I see hands of people that have their leadership manual, have a role? Keep them up if you need someone to evaluate your role.
Does the table topics evaluator? No.
No, so we're all good. Okay, I'm happy.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Okay, let's get this impromptu speaking rolling, shall we? So we have our very first table topics master, Mr. Slobodan. He's going to take it from here. Thank you.
Good evening, fellow members, viewers at home, and our guests.
That's nice.
That's a commitment we can make to bring guests next time. And talking about commitments is my second one. I want to thank Dan for sending that link on how to make better table topics. The table topics will never be the same again. So I chose the entry 1.9, which has this day in history. I went on Google and typed that. And I see battle 1, battle 2, battle 3. There's so many battles. I mean, the list of battles is unending. So let me find something more interesting. And then I found this. On August 20th, like the day, 1976, in Maine, 4 guys were abducted by aliens. That became a very famous Allagash alien abduction case. One of the most famous abduction cases in history. So that will be our table topic for tonight. Since I don't know much about this, I want to see if I can learn something from you guys about alien abductions. So who wants to be the first one? Not alien, I mean another abducted island.
Alien abduction.
Wow, guys, you're very enthusiastic about this.
Talk about the battles.
I guess it's
Okay, really?
perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have to be brief because I have to get back to the mothership.
Oh, great, great. So what's on your own? Well, actually, I've been talking about this. My first body wonder would be, how do they select who's going to be abducted? I mean, do they go like find some kind of records, or how do they find, next victim?
Thank you.
All right.
Toastmasters, viewers at home, very happy to be here tonight to talk about the selection criteria for abducting Earthlings. It's a little difficult to explain to lay people such as yourselves because it's a very complex technical algorithm that we use for selecting people. Basically, we don't want people that are too smart. We don't want people that are too dumb. We want average people. We don't want people that are too rich. We don't want people that are too poor. We want people kind of in the middle of the socioeconomic strata. And the reason for this is if we have people who are too smart and we abduct them, oftentimes they're smarter than us. And they can talk themselves out of being abducted. If we get people who are too dumb, then they don't understand what we're talking about, and there's no scientific value at all in abducting these people. Same as if we get people who are too rich, the problem with that is oftentimes they would bribe their way out of the abduction. And the crews that abducted them would go home with a lot of money, but there'd be no results of that trip or of that venture. And the same thing if people are too poor, all they're interested is stealing stuff from the ship. And so they're of no use to us. So as you can see, we just want middle of the road, average citizens, and they make the best abductees. Thank you.
who's our next speaker? Perfect, Karen.
All right.
Do you want to choose or should I choose for you?
Choose for me.
All right, number C. How can we protect ourselves from alien abduction? What would be the best practices?
Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and Wendy Bruin at home. The question for tonight, how do we protect ourselves from alien abduction? You may not know this, but there are a few scents that attract aliens, and there are some scents that detract aliens from our presence. Something that's been very successful for me I recall nights where I had a lot of garlic in my food, and those are the nights when I would be able to sleep quite peacefully. Somehow I think garlic was quite an offensive thing for the alien race, and I managed to get through the night without any black shadows creeping over my bed or without any green light. However, if I've been doing a lot of pure things like meditating, eating my spinach, drinking tea, those are the nights where my attention is subtle enough that the aliens seem to be very attracted and they come closer, maybe to get a little bit of light, a little bit of the bliss, and to steal some to take back to their ship. So it's a kind of a toss-up. On one hand, maybe eating stinky foods and not taking care of myself results in less encounters with the alien race. But I'm one for adventure. I really like expanding my boundaries, so quite often I've enjoyed nights where I've become closer to other species. It's really not that bad. There's some elements which make it even more enjoyable. One is to just stay in your bliss and not to get too excited. And you'll soon experience that aliens are really quite friendly. So if you just stay in that neutral area within yourself, you can have a very good night. You might even get some fascinating downloads.
Looks like we have all these alien experts around here. I was going to ask you, who covers the expenses? Like, you know, what kind of insurance? Is it like earthly insurance or their insurance? Or any procedures they might do? But in any case, that's not my question. Who is the next one? Who wants to be the next one?
All right. Great.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Now, should I choose for you again?
I love it when you choose for me.
Perfect. If you were abducted by aliens, would you rather prepare a TM speech about the event, or you would prefer a crew radio interview? Why? I think crew is this local alien radio station.
Okay. All right.
Good luck. Thank you.
Well, fellow Toastmasters, viewers at home, this is my TM speech about my alien abduction. And I've been a little nervous to talk about it, and only until you brought the subject up did it all come like flashing back to me. It happened only about 3 months ago, and I've been blocking it, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to go home and sleep tonight, but it was the craziest thing. I was sleeping in bed, and about 2:30 in the morning, I felt this presence, and I sat up quick in bed and I looked, and there was this entity, and I was so filled with dread, and he was gray and he had large eyes, and I was like, Jesus, he looks just like the ones that you see in the movies. And I always thought, well, when I meet an alien, you know, I'd probably just be like, hey, how you doing? No big deal. But my very next reaction was to just turn over immediately, flip over and lay down and close my eyes and forget that the whole thing could possibly be happening to me. And I decided, no matter what happens, I'm not opening my eyes again, and I'm just going to insist that the whole thing was a bad dream. That worked pretty well up until a few minutes ago. And it's just coming back to me in flashes. I'll probably have a lot more to share come the next table topics, but I do remember some uncomfortable probing. And maybe it's best if I don't probe that issue any further.
Thank you. I think it's chapter 850. Should we switch?
It's time to vote.
Okay, it's time to vote. Can you please take 2 minutes and
Pass the
vote
timer.
for the best table topics?
Let's keep everybody close.
Do they all qualify? Sorry.
Yes, Rick, Karen, and Ryan. We only have 3 first?
Yes.
That's all we're gonna do? Okay.
Right, but everybody had 3, so 9
Okay,
altogether.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yep, all qualified.
Yeah.
Give it back.
Fellow Toastmasters and hordes of guests. We always have at all of our meetings, and viewers at home. First, Rick. Loved how he went right in and his use of grammar, the selection criteria for abducting earthlings. That is so memorable. I'm going to try to find a way to use that in the future. I don't know what it's going to be, but it was great. A great vocabulary. You said we used a complex algorithm to make these selections. Your conclusion, again, these word choices. The average people make the best abductees. I love that. You just ended it and that was it. It was perfect. A suggestion would be to come out from the back of the lectern. So just, you could have done the same thing, just a little bit more out here, but it was really well done. Second, Karen, smell is the secret for the protection. That was great, great thinking. However, I think garlic is really more of a win-win. Garlic tastes great and it repels the aliens somehow, but you didn't see it that way. But you continued on and said something even more interesting, which was, maybe I don't want to repel aliens, maybe I want to attract them. It's very interesting, and how cool is that? I like that, the way her brain went through that whole process. Suggestion would be to make sure you use the correct word. You said detract as opposed to repel.
Yes, that was the word.
I could tell you were searching. What is it? What is it? What is it? And a little vocal variety. You tend to be soft, pretty soft. But you were animated and you were moving around, and I could see you thinking through all the layers of where the aliens were attracted versus repelled. Finally, Ryan. Ryan, very good device. All of a sudden, geez, I just remembered. I was abducted. It was just so cool the way that just happened right on the spot.
It did happen.
I know, there it was. There it was. I really liked the description too. He didn't just say the alien, he described the alien as gray with big eyes, just like in the movies, sitting there on the bed. I mean, I really got that sense of how that was. And his conclusion was so great. He was just saying, again, I just was repressing this and thinking it was a bad dream until just now. But then that whole thing on probing, that was great. Perfect. And when you have a really strong final line and then you button it, I mean, doesn't that just make you tingle? It does me. And finally, but a suggestion for Ryan would be less filler words. Using a lot of ands to put all the sentences together. If you looked at it, there was maybe 3 sentences in the whole thing. They were all joined by ands. So see if you can just bring it down, finish it, and start a new sentence. That's it. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you very much. What are we gonna do now?
Table topping.
Aliens at home watching. We're going to have another round of table topics, and I would like to invite up our next table topics master, Diane Benbaum.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call on you tonight. You're going to come up. I have some props, but I choose the prop that you are going to hold or wear. There's no theme, just spontaneity. You have to be spontaneous with what is presented to you. Brave souls, I said I was going to call on you.
Oh, good.
Who has not, and who doesn't have a role, and who has not spoken yet? Can I start with those people? Raise your hands. Anyone? Okay. I probably shouldn't have given so much away. Now I'm going to call on you. Where's my bags? Jean, I know you were just up, but I'm going to call on you to get this rolling because I have a prop for you. Come on up, Jean, Sandy, and Craig.
Because now I don't have a role.
One
Oh,
shoe.
man.
Hold on.
Oh, you want me
No, I have the other one here. There you go.
You need socks?
Spontaneous, speak. It's yours.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests and viewers at home, well, the first question, of course, is, do they fit? We're about to find out.
Holy moly.
Well, I could use a little padding in the back, but that's not going to stop me. Because aren't those just the most awesome looking shoes? Viewers at home, can you see this? They're purple and they're high and I want to use the word kick-ass, but. And how do I feel wearing these shoes? $1 million. I just went from low casual sandals, run around, to, shall I say, snazzy. And it's because of Diane. Now, Diane, the one thing I'd like to ask is, could you get these in my size? Which would really make the whole thing perfect.
I'll see what I can do.
Okay. Because these shoes, this color in particular and the style, it's just going to dress everything up. For you guys that aren't into fashion, these go with jeans. These will go from jeans all the way up to very dressy. And they'll be a conversation piece. I've got the yellow light, but I don't even know if I can stop talking about them. I am really into these shoes. Do I have to give them back?
Yes, you do.
Oh, gosh. All right,
I'll see if I
well,
can get
I
you
hope
some.
I did honors to this particular prop. I'm really into it, and let's talk about size afterwards.
Thank you, Jean. All right, let's see. Volunteers, I did say I'd call Art. Come on up. Let's see what I've got for Art.
Look at my shoes.
Let's see what I have for Art. Okay, close your eyes. Oh, hold on, I'm giving one.
Trafficking that on the day.
You can see my props.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and aliens at home. I speak to you from the planet Zorg. Purple. This evening is brought to you by the color purple. As you can tell, Earthlings have discovered purple. We know purple well. Purple is in our genes. And some of us like to flaunt it. This is considered a rather outre hairdo at Planet Zorg. But I tell you, one has to make an impression on Planet Zorg because with so much purple around, you have to stand out some way or other. This is one of the ways that I've found to attract attention. Attention is what we feed on. Hence, our proclivity for devices like this to draw even more attention. The females wearing these on Zorg attract maximum attention. They wear them on their hands. A different kind of device goes on the lower limbs. This hairdo has its drawbacks. Combing is a long, drawn-out process. Waking up in the morning, getting the snarls out of this, more time than I like to devote to it, but the attention that it delivers is worth it. I feed on that. Madam Toastmaster.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
A
bunch.
Any other volunteers here? Well, let's see. Dan, come on in. Dan, your wife is on. Oh my gosh, Dan, let me see. Hang on, Dan.
Are you a co-conspirator?
This year has been closing my eyes. Run.
Let's see. Okay, Dan, close your eyes.
So you can't see what it looks like.
Ooh, looks good.
No, you can't. All right, you can open your eyes.
Is it purple?
Well, that's true, no. Yeah, if you close your eyes, you can't see.
Fellow Toastmasters, guests, viewers at home, I have a very serious topic to speak to you about today. It's premature baldness. But I've found an excellent strategy. I've got this hat. You may have noticed that I was wearing it. And I wear it. And nobody knows. I completely blow the radar. People think I have this mullet up underneath it. I got this in Australia. One of our resident Toastmasters brought this to me from her last trip. And these are actually crocodile teeth, crocodile leather, the whole bit. So I'm pretty darn authentic. I could just, I could go into the Outback and just blend right in. And nobody would know that I was bald. So it's kind of my macho, this is my macho way to deal with things. It can get a little awkward, if I'm in a three-piece suit going to a formal event. It looks a little off, but still, it's worth it so that I can have my persona always in place. Madam Toastmaster.
How are we doing?
One more?
One more? One more. And actually, I'll give you the option. If you feel moved to use one of these, I'll give you that permission. So if anybody's saying, I wish I'd gotten called for that, come on up. Otherwise, I take out a new prop. So last call.
Rhonda.
Rhonda.
prop.
New prop.
New prop. All right, come on up, Rhonda. Let me get it and then I'll shake your hand. Let's see, new prop for Rhonda. Oh, let's see. Okay, Rhonda. Here you go.
Thank you. It's flat.
I know, I realize.
Tip off. Spalding. This is a surefire tip-off when your ball is flat. You're not meant to play the game. Okay, so I have a pump. I could fix this right up, but I prefer not to because I'm pretty short. And short people don't really stand a chance in basketball because the bigger people come up and claw the ball out of their hands. So there was one lady in high school named Leslie Duckett, and I always ducked her because she had long nails and she was like this. You know, she said, get that ball, you had it. You know, and I could shoot a three-pointer from outside as long as nobody was coming at me. It was actually pretty traumatic. I didn't get picked for any sports. No softball, no kickball. I found it very difficult to kick the kickball because I was only this tall. However, I have excelled in other areas that have nothing to do with sports. I do to hang well from the rings. I can do the bird's nest and the pike and upside down and climb the ropes. But as far as balls go, it's been pretty flat for me in several departments. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. Thank you. Scott, did everyone qualify?
Everyone did.
And
Jean,
can you
Art,
read?
Dan, and Rhonda.
Okay. Thank you. All right, Alex.
Impromptu speaking. How's everybody feeling? Good? Yeah? Woo. All right, we have, we're going to do one more session on table topics. And we have an evaluator.
Yeah.
Jeff is going to evaluate.
I thought Rick was evaluating Diane.
Oh, Rick's got to come
Oh,
up now.
you're right.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
yeah.
So now we're going to have a table topics evaluator. Welcome, Rick Star.
I saw that, so Jean got it.
There we go. So as an evaluator, my job is to offer, to have positive comments and also constructive criticism. It's very difficult for me to have constructive criticism. Being my first time as an evaluator, plus these speeches were also good and also zany. I don't know what criteria to apply to them. But Jean with the purple shoes started out very strong, started out very dramatically, walked out in front, put them on, walked around like a model on a fashion show, and used phrases like "I feel like $1,000,000" and "I look snazzy." And then at the end, she questioned whether they were in her size, and she asked that a couple of times. So Diane, I think you have to get a pair for her in her size. She really wants that.
I'll find out when her birthday is.
Art was a very good sport to put on a wig. Very humorous. He also used physical gestures, flipping back his hair. Very creative that on the planet Zorg they wear shoes on their hands, which I didn't know that, and that was very interesting. And I think the best part of his speech was his description of how in the morning, he fixes his hair, and it's such a task to do his hair in the morning. Dan with the leather Australian cowboy hat was very creative and premature balding, and he carried that theme throughout the talk. Very good use of physicality. He talked about the hat, and he touched the hat and pointed to different parts of the hat, and I thought that was good. Rhonda with the basketball, again, very physical, very broad gestures. For each sport, you had a different type of gesture and kind of mimicked that sport, which was good, and you also related it to your experience. And those are my comments, and I think I set a record for filler words. In this
Thank you very much, Rick. For your first evaluation, that was excellent. So the good thing about being an audience member is that we can all evaluate because we're all in the audience. So very nice. We're going to move on to our last table topics session. And our table topics master will be Dan Craig. Please welcome up Dan Craig.
By the way, I think we'll still have the finals, and the way we could do it would be to have all the three masters come back up and give one question each to the three winners. We can make it work
Right.
somehow.
All right.
Elimination.
Mine is a prop topics session. I've got 7 or 8 pennies in each year. Pennies, of course, have a date on them. So we're going to talk about what happened in the year of the penny that you draw. Either something that you remember happened in that year or something that happened to you in your life. I need volunteers. Jesus. Draw one. Can you read the date? I'll help you. I can't see it either. It is 1973.
73.
You can keep the pin.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. What can you do with a penny this day? 1973, that's a different story. Maybe in 1973, I would think that maybe you were able to buy maybe a couple of candies for a penny. Not today. What can you do with a penny today? Well, as a magician, probably there's a couple of things you can do. Simply, you can just get the penny, rub it, the penny into nothingness. Just put it up. Maybe you can get the penny and push it right through your eye, just like this, and make it come back in the back of your head. Watch, don't blink. Me encanta correr. Maybe you can just throw it, oops. You can just throw it into one hand. Make it come back out of your elbow. There's just so many things you can do with a penny. You might not be able to buy much, but at least you'll be able to have fun with it. And as Dan said, I can keep this penny. So I will consider this a lucky penny from 1973, and I will keep it and really make it disappear from you. Thank you.
Okay, excellent segue. We are going to talk about the year that's on the penny. Something that happened in the world or to you. And Scott wants to do it.
Slow down. Okay.
See how good your reading vision is.
Yes, this is a year.
I can handle it.
Once I was young, now I am old.
1997.
1997.
97.
Welcome, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests that are virtually here, and viewers at home. 1997 was a year of transition for me. And that's what happens. We get attached to time, we get attached to space, we get attached to a flip of a coin that determines our reality. But does it? What is truth? I cannot compete with Jesus, who can make the penny disappear, who can magic create reality. But what is reality? 1997 was a transitional year for me. I was finishing one program and I was working on my dissertation while I was getting my black belt, working full-time, 14-hour days at a hospital and then in private practice. I was creating reality, the flip of a coin, for all of us. 1997. We think it means something, and it does, because we create it. We create that meaning, we create the truth, like Jesus creates truth. A
Flip of the coin. Heads. What does it mean? So we conjunct our realities to be of polarities. Positive, negative, good, bad. Do this or do that. What is it you want to create from your truth? And in 1997, who were you? I was getting beaten up all the time in 1997 as a black belt because I was boxing with a guy who was literally 6'5", and I'm a tiny guy. And I had this incident where I was so lost in what I was trying to create, that flip of the coin of who I was, that I would get philosophical, as you could see that I kind of get lost doing. And there was this matrix on the other side of the building, across the way. In the corner of the matrix, there was this little line, this quarter of black and gray. And as I looked at it and was smelling the dirt in the room and who I was becoming, he would whack me in the head and I would go down. The flip of the coin. Tails this time. And it's time to create a new reality. Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
We have time for one more. Diane.
See if I can read it. Oh, you cannot. It's small. Yeah, we made you.
1971.
Oh, boy. Good evening, everyone. Toastmasters, viewers at home. 1971. Wow. I did not have parental supervision for the first time in my life. No parents telling me when I had to be home, when I had to do my homework, what I had to eat. I was beginning college. Wow, to think back, I made good choices, and I made some really stupid choices. However, I had a lot of fun. I went to school in upstate New York. Monday, we partied because we made it through the weekend. Tuesday, we took a rest. Wednesday was hump day. We're almost to the weekend. Thursday, we're a day away. Come on, let's party. Friday, forget about it. Keggers, you name it. I mean, I could not get over the amount of parties, the reasons to have them. Saturday, continue. Sunday, study. Okay, come home for summer vacation, facing my big 6'4" dad. Diane, what's with these grades? Well, it's fun up there, Dad. Okay. You have a big choice to make, girl. You can have all the fun you want on your dime. Or you figure out how to have fun with my support. Your choice. The end of 1971, Diane balanced out her life. I enjoyed hump day and Saturdays, and on the rest of the days, I did my schoolwork. That's what was going on for me in 1971.
We don't have quite enough time for another, so we'll vote at this point. Mr. Timer, did everyone qualify?
Everyone did.
And the
Jesus,
names?
Scott, and Diane.
Please vote. Now it's time to have the evaluation. Please welcome Jeff Shipley.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. Excellent premise with the use of the pennies and picking a date. I thought that was very creative, something I had not seen. First up, Jesus Rios, and the year was 1973. You came out and you greeted the audience with a lot of energy, and you asked, what can you do with a penny? What good's a penny? At this point, I thought I was going to go to kind of a monetary discussion, hit on some themes of like inflation and things I would have really enjoyed. Instead, you took it in a different direction. You started using, you did your illusions, things you're very comfortable with. And obviously, you're great. It was a fantastic showman. I guess my only suggestion would be, it was almost something you're too comfortable with. You're too good at it. You know, table topics, I feel like we're trying to broaden our horizons, get into something new. But yet, you hit on a point, and then you kind of went back right into your comfort zone. I'm just going to impress these people with my illusions. He shoved a penny through his eye, and it came out the back of his head, for Pete's sakes. So that was very impressive, but I would just, maybe you could use the time to grow a little bit more. But other than that, fantastic. We all really enjoyed it. Scott, where is he? You spoke about 1997. You came out again, greeted the audience, a lot of energy, good solid posture. You said it was a year of transition for you, so you made it personal. And then, instead of keeping on the personal, like, you went off, and since you admitted in your talk, I'll hammer you on it, you said you got lost off in the philosophical tangents, which it was kind of two instances. I mean, if you divided the table topics in half, you might have could have gotten away with it, but you divided it in half, then you divided it into fourths, so you're bouncing back and forth. But you asked big questions. What is truth? What is reality? And frankly, you answered them. We create truth. We create reality. So that was pretty cool. And then again, I really did enjoy hearing about the personal stuff. You getting beat up as a black belt. Good use of images. Really, like I said, you could have done more to focus on one or the other instead of flipping back and forth other in the less coherent fashion. Diane, 1971. You nailed it. You just answered this question perfectly. It was all personal to you. The theme of the answer was present throughout. You came back to it at the end to make a real solid conclusion. You sounded like you were a really fun person to hang out with in 1971. I didn't even know they made pennies that old. So anyway, I really didn't have any recommendations for you. Like I said, you nailed it. Couldn't have really done any better in my opinion. I really enjoyed everyone's answers. Thanks again to Dan for the wonderful prompts.
Fantastic. So it looks like we have a little bit of extra time, but what we're going to do
If I might come up and offer my suggestion.
Absolutely. Dan,
We've got
away.
3 winners.
Okay.
So why don't Art, Rick, and Diane come up? They're the winners of the 3 table topic sessions by vote. And what I'm thinking is that Diane, you're sort of disqualified as being a master since you're a contestant. So I was thinking Slobodan and I would come back up and we'll flip a coin to decide who gives a question to who.
What year is the coin?
What year is the coin?
Okay. Slobodan, heads or tails?
Let me see.
It is tails.
Perfect, thank you.
So I'm up. Rick, pick a penny. Talk about something that happened to you that year or something that happened in the world.
Okay.
See if you can read it. That'll be another contest.
I can't read it.
Okay. 1945.
1945. Surely you misread that.
Don't call me Shirley.
Usually I like to inject a lot of humor in my talks and make them funny. It's difficult to think of anything humorous associated with 1945. 1945 was the end of several of probably the most horrible years humanity has ever seen, where a war waged around the world, killed tens of millions of people, both in the military and civilians. And it was some say a low point for humanity, for the history of humanity. There's always been wars, there's always been conflict, but this was a conflict on a scale unheard of before and really unimaginable. The good thing that came out of it is that for a lot of people, a lot of countries, the idea of having a war on that scale was something that just couldn't happen ever again. And so an organization was brought into being, the United Nations, whose goal was to maintain peace and to prevent a war like that ever from happening again. And since then, there have been wars. Wars have continued, but nothing on that scale has ever happened again. And even during the Cold War years, when it was thought that the whole world could be destroyed, the ultimate war, the Third World War, never really happened. So even though 1945 was a horrible, horrible time, since then, we can look at it with a different perspective and think that things may have gotten better since then. Thank you.
Now, Slobodan, if you'll come up, let's have one of your questions for Diane, because she didn't participate in your group before.
Thank you. Hi, Diane. When you wear those shoes, did you buy them when you went to college or not?
Good question. I'm going to keep that a secret.
Perfect. Should we allow aliens to get permanent residence here? and like a big question, you know, segue. Can legal aliens in one country apply for asylum in another country on Earth, or they have to go on a different planet? Do you want me to repeat the question?
Just that first little one.
Should aliens get permanent residency or citizenship? Thank you.
Do you believe that guy, Slobodan, with his alien questions? Oh my gosh, who brought him to this party here in 1971? What the heck, aliens? Come on. Ay, ay, ay. You know, really, when I was young, I knew nothing about aliens. I don't really care about aliens. Whatever they're doing up there, they're doing. You know, I got to be in grade school. I still don't really care about aliens. You know, I don't know about their citizenship. I don't care about their citizenship. Then I got a little older. Now, you know, I did stop partying and I got a little more smart about things, but not about aliens. I do not know or care about aliens. And now I'm here with you, Slobodan, in personal growth groups, communicating, let's connect, let's support each other. However, one of my big lessons has been, be honest, speak your truth. So Slobodan, the truth is, I don't care about aliens. I don't know about their citizenships. Purple-headed people, it's not my thing. But it's very interesting, and the fact that you looked up what happened to aliens August 20th, in whatever year that was,
1976.
Very, so I will listen and learn, and maybe next time I'll have some answers for you.
I think perhaps we're topped off on aliens. So let's have our the draw pity. See how good his reading glasses are.
If it's 1976, I have an event.
The event master.
Oh, this one is
Yeah, they're way swell.
pretty correct.
Yeah, that's a start, it's corroding. 1965.
1965.
1965.
Hello, Toastmasters, aliens at home. In 1965, I had a close encounter of the third kind. I encountered a device called a bassoon. It's something that was probably dropped on this planet by an alien with a sense of humor. How many can picture what a bassoon is? Wow, I'm impressed. I played the thing, having been given it by a band teacher who may have been an alien with a covert intention. I started playing the thing, and just fell in love with playing it, and with playing in the groups where you use an instrument like that. Orchestras, bands, chamber music groups. And I did it until leaving college. I'm convinced that playing a bassoon requires alien intelligence and probably cultivates a sense of disconnection from the rest of humanity. I was a member of the Southern California Bassoon Club, the only one that exists on the planet so far as I know. A group of junior high school and college age and high school age students who all played this thing and who gathered in the Los Angeles area for sessions of playing bassoons together. There's actually a newspaper article written about this that my mom collected and kept in a scrapbook. There's no music written for any more than 4 bassoons. But there was one bassoon quartet called the Idols of 4 Goblins. Now you get the alien connection there. The Idols of 4 Goblins was written by somebody who was, for the rest of his career, probably a Hollywood studio musician cranking out music for films and television. But he wrote this thing and we played it, and by golly, it was good and it was fun. I'm grateful for that.
I'll just have to say, I'm kind of a fan of drum circles, but I now know that there are bassoon circles. We need to vote for the finals winner of Table Topics, Mr. Timer. And their names are Art,
Rick, Diane, and Art.
please vote. Evaluator for that round of Table Topics, please welcome Rhonda.
This was a very humorous round of table topics. Second and third. The first one was totally serious and down to earth, very grounding, and fitting for today's society to hear about. We decided at one point in 1945 there would be no more world wars. I've been wondering lately what happens now. Where is the Third World War that's supposed to happen in the East? And I'll let you think about that. Rick, I enjoyed your talk very much. 1945, I wasn't even a glimmer in my parents' eye. But I did see the difficulties that happened after the war. I liked the way you came out front. You had a solemn presentation. You reached out to people with your eyes. You reached the audience by looking at each one. You engaged each person. And you made your points very well, very clearly. I would suggest for you as a recommendation to use more gestures. At the conclusion, you did use your hands more. And it looked good that you were making your points. Diane totally threw us for a loop with her chair. She brought the chair up. She was going to have a talk with us about Slobodan and his alien encounters. I enjoyed the rebelliousness of your table topic. You had several emotions that came up, and you made it personal with Slobodan. And you brought the deep purple-headed aliens in from a previous table topic, so you kind of sewed the evening together. You really licked them good. And I would suggest, I did notice when you were making your points, like, I just don't care, I've had enough, don't talk to me about it anymore. You know, I felt at some point you should have started marching around, I've had enough, don't talk to me about this anymore. Keep it to yourself if you've got a problem, take it home. You know, I wanted to see you exaggerate your emotions even more then, because you were kind of containing yourself, like you couldn't quite get out there and say, I'm not doing this again.
Yeah.
All right, very good, Diane. Excellent example for the rest of us who are holding back. Now, a 1965 bassoon encounter. Back to the aliens again. I've seen a bassoon, they're like 7 feet tall. So I wanted to see Art play that bassoon. Art, I wanted you to come out front here and go through those notes on that bassoon. However, you gave us the background on the bassoon in a very classical, dignified manner. You told us about your connection in California with the Southern California Bassoon Club. And you talked about the Isles of Four Goblins. That was excellent. Next time, bring the goblins up front and play the bassoon for us. Mr. Table Topics.
What happens now? I give it to the Toastmaster, and he's going to introduce our general evaluator.
Yes.
We better vote for the best evaluator, right?
Oh, that's right. Why don't you say it, Alex?
Okay.
All right.
Sure. Okay. Let's take a minute to vote for the best evaluator this evening. Timer, did all the evaluators qualify?
They did indeed. Jean, Rick, Jeff, and Rhonda.
Welcome back, fellow Toastmasters, viewers, and aliens at home. Now we will have our general evaluator come up, Ms. Marilyn Graber.
Thank you, fellow Toastmasters and guests at home. Wow, what a night. I was evaluating the table topics, and then I realized I'm supposed to be evaluating the evaluators, so I may have them all mixed up, but here we go. All of the evaluators seemed experienced. Maybe they weren't experienced, but they seemed that they were experienced. They had a kind of confidence or ease about their presentations. All of the people shook hands when they came up and when they left, and all greeted the audience. Jeff said, "Thank you, Table Topics Master," and by implication, I think that was a greeting of the audience. Jean was the first evaluator. She gave good points for each of her people that she was evaluating. She gave a recommendation for everybody. She gave 2 recommendations for Karen, I believe. My only recommendation for Jean would be to give a little bit of a conclusion at the end, rather than just stop it sharp. Rick. Nice presence, especially for your first evaluation. I didn't realize that. You have a very nice, relaxed, easy presence, which is very easy to listen to. My only recommendation for you would be to move out in front. Perhaps give a few more recommendations. You gave good points. I didn't hear too many recommendations, but great job for your first evaluation. Jeff. There you are. You came out and you used the stage very purposefully. Maybe it was unconscious, but it seemed very purposeful. You started evaluating your first person here, your second person here, and then your third person, Diane, I believe, right, was over here. So it seemed like you were really using the stage purposefully. And that was nice, because whether it's unconscious or conscious, you did it. You gave good points for everybody. Well, you gave, yes, you gave good points for everybody. You gave a recommendation for Jesus to broaden your horizons. I don't know if I heard a recommendation for the other two, but you may have given them and I just didn't hear them. So my only recommendation for you is perhaps slow down a little bit, use a few more pauses. Rhonda definitely came out front. Very expressive, a joy to listen to. I loved your evaluation of everybody, especially Diane. You enjoyed Diane's rebelliousness. I love your expressions. I believe you gave recommendations for everybody, more gestures, and then with Art, wanted to see you give more visuals on the bassoon. I don't have a recommendation for you. I'm sorry. I will think while I'm sitting back there.
He needs to do the reports.
Oh, the reports.
Okay. Yes. Thanks. Sorry, forgot about that. Can we have the timers report?
Yes. Quite a long list. Under Slobodan's aliens, we have Rick at 128, Karen at 211, and Ryan at 217. On Diane's props, we have Jean at 150, Art at 142, Diane at 140, Rhonda at 120. Under Dan's pennies, we have Jesus at 124, Scott at 221, and Diane at 216. And under Dan and Slobodan's mixture of alien pennies, we have Rick at 143, Diane at 156, Art at 216. Under Table Topics Evaluators, we have Jean at 316, Rick at 202, Jeff at 225, and Rhonda at 322. And Marilyn, you were at 330, right at 330.
Whoa, wow.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Our grammarian, Lynette. Would you like to begin?
Well, I would say that everybody was exceptionally creative in their topics, and it was very hard to find where they weren't using the correct words because they made it fun and because of the creativity in the topic, whether it was the pennies or the aliens. So it was very interesting to hear. And I would say that everybody really qualified with an exceptional creativity.
Great.
I heard the word commitment one time, and that was it.
And now we will have our all counter.
Lynette, 1 arm, 2 soles, 1 butt. Alex Ikea, which I really didn't track you right from the start.
Yes.
So I gotta miss myself. This is what I got on you. I got 1 arm and 1 sole, which is pretty good. Dan Craig, 3 soles. Slobodan, 3 R's, 2 soles. Rick Star, 17 R's, 1 like, 2 soles, 1 butt, and 4 arm and 3 repeats. Karen Naoki, 1 arm, 1 you know, 3 soles, 1 butt, 1 arm, and a couple of them, they're not really like tongue clicks, but it's a little expression like you take a pause and
Lip smack.
lip smack. 3 of those. Ryan, 2 R's, 2 butts, and 9 and you will start 1 sentence by say and. So I got 9 of those and 1 repeat. Scott, 1 that's all for Scott. Dean Symington, right from the first start, I just got so absorbed into your speech that I totally forgot about taking notes until the end and not even catch anything. Rhonda, 1 so. Jesus, 2 tongue clicks.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Jeff Shipley, clean slate. I was trying to find something, but it was just clean as far as filler words. Marlene Graver, 2 us, 1 so, and that's my report for tonight.
And now let's have another joke from Arthur Atkinson.
Having fun with puns tonight. She was only a whiskey maker, but he loved her still.
Yeah.
No matter how much you push the envelope, they'll still be stationary. I wondered why the baseball kept getting bigger, and it hit me. And then there was the person who sent 10 puns to different friends with the hope that at least one of the puns would make them laugh. No pun intended. We all have an alien whom we love. Yoda is universally loved. Am I right?
Yeah.
A quote. Duct tape. The force it is like. Both a light side and a dark side it has. Binds the universe together, it does. Now here's a brief quiz. What is the first Yoda Sutra? There is no try. There is only do. Second question. Why did the Jedi Knight cross the road? Because the Force made him do it. Third question. Does Yoda have the Buddha nature? No. Yoda has the Force. The Force has a dark side. The Buddha nature has no dark side. Therefore, Yoda cannot have the Buddha nature. QED. Next question. How many Jedi Knights does it take to screw in a light bulb? None. The Force does everything. What is the last Yoda Sutra? There is no do. Refer to the answer about the light bulb. What is the sound of Yoda clapping? If you're forceful and you know it, clap your hands. If you're forceful and you know it, clap your hands. If you're forceful and you know it, you can well afford to show it. If you're forceful and you show it, clap your hands.
All right, all right.
I think I can officially say that this meeting is out of this world. Okay, it's time for some awards. All right, we got 2 awards. Best table topic out of the playoff poll. The topic is art. All right.
Tonight. Yeah.
And best evaluator for this evening, drum roll please. Rhonda. Okay, and I will invite Rhonda back up to close the meeting.
Well, this was a delightful evening. Good thing we don't do this every week.
We are much fun.
Well, we got pretty rowdy, I have to say. I've never seen everybody so disheveled and crazed and out of this world. Now, tonight, I would like to ask people a serious question. Are you coming to lunch Friday at noon at Revelations for our Table Topics informal luncheon?
This Friday.
this Friday.
Most definitely.
Ryan, I have you down on my list of attendees. It's at,
I'm
you
coming
order
late.
at the counter. Diane's coming, Ryan,
I'm coming late though, remember?
yes. Slobodan,
It's not too late.
Yeah, I'll come.
Scott, it's not too late.
And what are we doing?
We're going to go to Revelations and we're going to sit together, we're going to eat together, we're going to order our own meal before we sit down, and we're going to do table topics. And we may have a guest who is another table topics, Toastmaster member, but not of this club. And I think I'd like to get a vote on that from the club. Do you want this meeting to be our club only, or do you want to bring a guest? Our club only, raise your hand. Bring a guest, raise your hand.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, great.
Don't get up, raise
All right, so I'd like to find out who's coming. Raise your hand because I have to get a table.
I'd like to come.
Maybe, fine. Okay, great. We got about 10 hands all the way up.
What time is it?
It's at 12, but we can change the time a little. That's another topic. Is 12 a good time, or is 12:15 or 12:30 better? 12's good? Okay, great.
It's possible to be upstairs because somebody made a comment and I think that was good because the basement is very stale. And they have several rooms upstairs that we can probably
Yeah, the
use.
only problem with the rooms upstairs is there's no air conditioning, so it'd be pretty hot. I was up there today and it was uncomfortably hot. If
Okay.
you don't mind it being hot, we can do it upstairs.
Well, we can do a beach party.
A beach party? Here he goes again, folks.
He's got lots of ideas.
Yeah, wear your grass skirt, Slobodan. All right, so we won't meet in the lower level because people,
Wait a minute.
I've had a couple people.
Let's vote on that. Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay, vote on that?
Yeah.
All right, who doesn't mind meeting in the lower level where it's cool?
And stuff.
What?
I don't know the areas.
And who minds? Who will not go to the lower level?
What is a lower
I
level?
think you're outvoted, Slobodan. All right, that concludes that. We are still taking volunteers for the contest, our club contest on September 17th. Yes, and we have lots of speakers lined up. There are other roles. They are circled out there. If you see a role you would get credit for in your manual, please sign up. And I think that's about it from my end tonight. Does anyone else have any business they want to bring up before we close? Jean?
Stephanie, is there a meeting tomorrow night?
Yes, as far as I know, that's Toastmasters is meeting here tomorrow night, 7:30. You're welcome to come along if you'd like to attend.
Okay, so we're all invited to Seth's Advanced Speakers meeting tomorrow night at 7:30. And it's free.
It's to this trust, it's a club.
It's a club. Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, adjourned.
And help